Do y'all know this son of a gun told on me? Am I on track? Yes. She told on me. So she went and told the VP that I had like got mad at her or something. And I was just like, okay guys, today I have a little bit something different to do. And that is share a personal story. And the personal story is talking to you about a time that I won over my VP. And the reason why this is important for this channel and for the audience and for you is because there's going to be a lot of different situations that occur in the workplace that you're going to have to learn how to navigate. And the reason why I want to share this personal story is because it did benefit me in the end, but it was a lot to navigate when it was going on. And it is about a conflict that I had with a coworker and how I specifically impressed my VP at the same time while dealing with this conflict, okay? So I want to set up the story to let you know that this is what this is going to be about. It is a personal story. It is entertaining. It is something that allowed me to win over the VP and become, a student in like a I was gonna say a student worker. No, the VP liked me. Okay, let me just say it like I want to say it. Dude ended up liking me. He liked me a lot. I was like one of their star players, quote unquote, whatever you want to call it. But this is how the story went. And I got my notes because I want to let y'all know. So, first of all, again, like I was saying, it was a conflict at work, and like I was saying, favorites occur at work, changes occur at work, but you have to learn how to navigate this. You have to decide if you're going to be one of those disgruntled workers. Are you going to be one of those workers that feel like, oh, this ain't fair and I don't want to get on board with this change? If you're going to be sitting there in the meeting looking like a frowny face, if you're on site, if you're virtual, are you going to be that person that always keeps your camera off? You don't want to do that. As much as we want to do that in our heart, that ain't what you want to do, okay? So anyway, what had happened was, let me make sure I'm on track. Okay, so the coworker, we're going to just say her name was Susie, okay? Susie was definitely a disgruntled coworker because we was having a lot of changes within the organization. Now, me, on the other hand, I was like, as long as I'm getting paid, as long as I come and go as I please, as long as, my check is right, I ain't got nothing disgruntled to be about. But I did want to make sure, I still was going along to get along with the people who was, the important people. It is what it is. These people exist at work, so I'm not going to act like they don't. So Susie, she did not want to go along to get along. She made it obvious that she didn't like the important people at the job. And because she didn't like the important people at the job, and because the important people liked me, which how do I know they like me? Because y'all, they say things at meetings. They'll say, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna have Lexi do that. Or they'll say like you can tell, So by byproduct, she ain't like me. I mean, at least that's what I picked up, because what she started doing was, like, she would come to meetings and she wouldn't want to work as a team. She would ask these questions that was clearly like digging type questions that disgruntled people would ask. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just was asking stuff that she knew was just like, now why she asked that? So in my opinion, I was like, okay, maybe she just where she want to be in her career and she not trying to make no good impression. But my thing is, she was kind of being mean to me and just like having short emails with me and wasn't trying to help me when I needed some help, or like didn't want to partner with me when it was time for something to be done, because I was a recruiter, but she was a consultant. So when I was trying to rehire somebody, she would I would have to ask her for information about the person, or you just never know. I would have to collaborate with her, you know. But when it was time to collaborate, she wasn't trying to do that. She'll be like, oh, I don't know. Or she'll be like, that's not my department. Or you need to ask such and such. Or it just was like, I can tell that I was just like, girl, you got the wrong one. Okay? So I wanted to let y'all know that's what was happening. She started to get snippy with me, you know, and I just dealt with it. I just would just mosey on, you know. I still would say hi to Susie and stuff, even though I knew she was getting just madder and more disgruntled. Again, because at the time, I was cool with the VP, or I was cool with the important people. You know, I wasn't buddy with them, but I worked with them and they was nice to me. And like I said, I would just feel like I was mistreated by a byproduct. So what had happened was, it was this one thing. So it was back when like shared spreadsheets started popping at work, like, you know, the Google Sheets, you know, or the Microsoft Sheets or whatever, where you would share it. With the team, okay? So she had all these million trillion questions for me and was shooting off me short emails. Like, I was like, every time I respond, she got something. And I just was like, dang. So I shared my spreadsheet with her, right? After I was like, let me just share my spreadsheet with you so this could let you look at it and just take a look at it and digest it before you ask me all these questions again and everything. So why I do that? Because when I shared her the spreadsheet, that just gave her more fuel to ask me more questions and just kind of be like, well, what's this? And why you got this here? And da-da-da-da. And I just was like, child, she ain't gonna make me lose my livelihood, and she definitely not gonna make me lose my salvation. So that's what I was saying to myself. So what I did was I went over to her office, right? I went over to her office because I was like, you know what? Forget it. Like, I'm not about to deal with this. I'm just going to unshare my spreadsheet with her. So I went over to her office. That's what I had in my mind, right? Or maybe I did. I don't remember. I just know that I went over to her office, okay? I went over to her office. This is where, before COVID, I walked over to her office and I was like, Susie, what's going on? And I was in the doorway. She was at her desk. She was at her standing desk. And I was in the doorway. And so she was like, well, what is it about this part? And what do this mean? And I was like, it means such and such. Well, why do you have this here? And I was like, what is it? And she was like, well, I just want to know, because if this person, and she, baby, when I tell you, she rubbed me the wrong way. So what I did immediately, I said, you know what? I'm going to unshare my spreadsheet with you. Forget it. That's what I said. Yes, I wouldn't recommend people say that, but it was obviously that I just was like, I'm done. I feel like you like nitpicking and nagging right now, so I'm just going to unshare. I didn't say that part, but all I said was, you know what? I'm just going to unshare my spreadsheet with you. I turned around to walk away, right? And she said, and this is where it gets good, girl, because the whole job knew about this. The whole department knew about me saying this. She said, I just can't ask you one more question. I said, no, ma'am. And she said, I just can't ask you one more. I said, no. I said, that's what happened. She said, I just can't ask you one more question. I said, no. And she said, I can't ask you one more question. I said, no, ma'am. And I kept on walking. The whole job found out about it. And they was like, did y'all hear what Lexi said? Did y'all hear what Lexi said to Susie? Did y'all hear what she said? Da, 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 da. And I was like, I was just done with it. I was like, you're not going to nitpick and nag at me. I'm trying to be a team player. I know you got your own issues that you're working out, but I went with that. So, do y'all know this son of a gun told on me? Am I on track? Yes. She told on me. So she went and told the VP that I had got mad at her or something. And I was just like, so I remember I went in the VP office. Man, we had a talk. We had to sit down and we had to talk, me and the VP. But he already knew that this lady was kind of disgruntled. Susie was disgruntled. And he was just kind of like, you know what, Lexi, I'm just, if you could figure out how to work with her. And I was like, that's fine. I can figure out how to work with her. I said, but I know that she's nitpicking, and I know that she's being, you know, a hard, disgruntled person on purpose. And it was as if he just was kind of like agreeing, but he couldn't agree, but he was just like, because he knew that, number one, man, he couldn't do nothing about it. He wasn't going to do nothing about it. He wasn't that type of person. Like I said, he don't like conflict or whatever. So the days go on. A couple of, maybe a week passed. Not a couple, it wasn't too long, but it might have been a week. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. And I'm talking to my friend at work about it. I'm like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Because I don't like the way this is going. Can't believe she told on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, so me and my friend who I work with, she was like, girl, why don't you just like be the bigger person and apologize to her, and then let the VP know that, you know, it's squashed. And I was like, not a bad idea, because this is why. Because at the end of the day, I didn't care what Susie thought of me. I didn't care if she thought she won. I didn't care if she thought, yeah, Lexi apologized to me. I don't give a darn. My only concern was how the how the VP looked at me, because he the VP. So if Susie want to act like she won, if Susie want to kiki with her friends and be like, yeah, I got Alexia to apologize to me, whatever, you know, don't make me no never mind, because what made me never mind was the VP. Okay, so my friend suggested that. So what I did was, I was like trying to get a meeting with the girl, right? I was like, Susie, do you have a minute to talk? No. I'm like, okay. So I said again, like via email, I was like, okay, do you have a minute to talk at this time? She was like, yeah. So I goes over to her office. Like I said, it might have been a week past by this point, maybe a few days, but I think it was a week. I goes over to her office, and this is what I talk about on the channel, y'all. I had already wrote down my script, rehearsed that joker, and already had my mouth ready to say what I needed to say to that heifer. Because I was like, I'm not messing this up. I know what I'm about to do. I know what I'm about to do. Because I didn't want to drag it on. And two, I just wanted to know what I was going to say, be done with it, move on, right? So I get to her office. We sit at the table together. And I say to her, I said, you know what, Susie? I said, I just want to say that I apologize for whatever happened between us. I said, I don't want to have a bad relationship with you. I want us to be able to work together amicably. I want us to be able to talk to each other, to be able to send emails, and to be able to, you know, partner with things as needed without us having any issues. So with that being said, I apologize for getting upset. I apologize for offending you. I apologize for whatever I did on my end. Now, I don't remember if she said, well, I accept your apology and I'm sorry too for, I think she did, y'all. But for the sake of my ego, we gonna say she did. Just playing. No, but I think she was like, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, I want to work together well too. I think that's what she said. Instead of the words, I'm sorry, or I apologize too, I think she just said, yeah, I want to work together well too. And so we squashed it right in that office, right? Now here's where it comes to fruition. Here's the moral of the story. Here's the icing on the cake. Here's the cherry on top. Here's the fireworks. Here's the Skittles. Here's the Christmas lights and all the good stuff. I didn't even walk back to my office. As soon as I left her office, I walked straight to the VP office. And I said to his secretary, I was like, can you go get him? Is he available? And she was like, yeah, I go get him. But see, he wasn't available for everybody, but he was available for me because we was cool. You know what I'm saying? We was cool. And I would have never, you know, went into his office without having a meeting already pre-scheduled, but we was cool, you know. So she had went to got him, and he was like, oh, yeah, Lexi, you come in and talk to me. So we sat down at his desk. As soon as I sat down at the table with him, I said, everything's done. He was like, what? I was like, with Susie. I said, I went in there. I apologized to her. We squashed everything. I said, it'll be fine going forward. Y'all, he looked at me dead in the eyes, and he said, I could just cry. You guys, I am not making that up. And I quote, he said, I could just cry. Now, was he gonna cry? I'm sure he wasn't. But he didn't like conflict. He didn't like that there was going on. He knew that I wasn't doing nothing wrong because he knew how Susie was. But he also didn't want to say nothing to Susie because she was Susie. Because she was a Susie. I'm just keeping it 100, okay? Whole other topic. But he didn't want to say nothing to her like that. And I just was like, whatever, it's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. So we at the office, and he said, I can just cry. And I was like, it's over. I said, it's done. I apologized to her. I said, I went to her. I talked to her at the table. I let her know that I was sorry for, us having this disagreement, and I wanted to work well with her going forward. Baby, when I tell you, that put me in the good graces with the VP boy. Like, he was like, man, maybe he was having me do projects. He was calling me, you know what I'm saying? He was texting me. He was side emailing us. I was in good graces with the VP. And like I said, I was playing the game.